Money Heist characters ranked from least to most likely to win in Squid Game. The robbers from Money Heist would have to be strategic and cunning to win in Squid Game. Who among them has what it takes to win the prize money? It's not hard to imagine the crew from Money Heist facing off against each other in life or death rounds in Squid Game. The robbers' red jumpsuits already perfectly fit into the aesthetic of the deadly competition, after all. Unlike their infiltration of the Royal Mint and the Bank of Spain, the robbers won't have decades to plan out every single detail. Instead, characters like the Professor and Tokyo will only have a few minutes to come up with a strategy once the game is announced for that level. In order to win, they would have to be able to put aside their emotions and come up with quick solutions for each game. As the youngest member of the group, it's not surprising that Rio is also the most naive. He's put the entire team at risk more than once. He makes small mistakes like being careless with his phone, but he has also made bigger errors, like compromising his position and getting kidnapped. Rio's hacking skills wouldn't be too useful in a competition where contestants are not even allowed to go near their phones or any other gadget. He would likely be too terrified to kill anyone to survive, much like how he hesitates to shoot Gandia in Money Heist. He'd probably be a fan favorite like Ollie, who ends up dying a heartbreaking death in Squid Game, but it wouldn't surprise anyone.
Stockholm has proved that she has become a more courageous character. That said, Season 5 has shown that she still has a hard time killing others, even if they're villains like Arturo. She isn't the go-to person for violent situations because of this and usually takes on the role of a helpful medic. Unfortunately, Stockholm's role of caring for others would be a disadvantage in Squid Game, where the kind-hearted players are often eliminated. She wouldn't be able to handle having to murder others and would likely sacrifice herself in the game of marbles like Ji-young did for Sae Bayok. Of course, Denver will do everything he can to keep her alive, but that support can only take her so far in the brutal competition.
Denver has previously risked his life to keep Stockholm alive, so it wouldn't be shocking to see him do the same in the competition. Fans know that he can be hot-headed and sensitive, especially concerning those closest to him like Stockholm and Tokyo. Denver's short temper and emotional outbursts would cause his downfall in rounds like the honeycomb game, where patience and calmness are necessary. When his crew starts dying around him, he'd be too overwhelmed to stay focused. His courage and drive to protect others could keep him alive for a few rounds, but he likely wouldn't make it to the very end. Helsinki would quickly become one of the most likable characters in Squid Game. He may look intimidating, but fans know that he's a sensitive and kind-hearted character who cares deeply about his friends. Helsinki's gentle nature would be a con in the competition, especially if he has to go against his friends like in the game of marbles. He would also lack the finesse and strategic skills necessary to win the honeycomb game. That said, his incredible strength would be unbeatable in tug of war and the player riot, but he likely wouldn't be able to muscle his way to the final round.
Tokyo is a polarizing character who has been praised for her bravery but criticized for her recklessness. She has put her crew in danger because of her impulsive decisions and aggressive reactions. She can often be overconfident, straying away from the plan and thinking that she is more capable than the professor's appointed leaders. Tokyo's unpredictability is a pro and a con in the deadly competition. She can switch gears fast, so this could become an advantage in games that require quick thinking. She's also unbelievably brave and driven by her need to survive any challenge that's thrown at her. If there's one thing that could surely bring her down, it's that she's not afraid to sacrifice herself for others, which could lead to a tragic yet selfless moment in Squid Game. Nairobi is a confident and assertive crew member who cares about others and will do anything to protect her loved ones. She has contributed to her group through her counterfeiting and leadership skills in the two heists. Her courage and strategic thinking would be beneficial in the brutal competition. Nairobi's eye for detail could shine during the honeycomb game, where she'd likely be among the few who notice that the discs are thin enough to lick through. She'd make an excellent leader like Sang-woo in Tug of War, barking orders and keeping everyone coordinated. her major flaw would lead to her death eventually, however, like how it does in Money Heist when she blindly follows her emotions and gets shot. Whether the robbers like it or not, Palermo is still one of the smartest characters in Money Heist. As a trained engineer, Palermo is brilliant at devising solutions to complex problems, not to mention he also contributed to developing the plan with the professor. His volatile personality could get him in trouble in Squid Game, though, where any player could choose to take him out during the riots. Like Nairobi, he would be an effective leader in Tug of War, but would probably be resented by most players by the end of it. His obsession with Berlin would definitely affect his chances of winning. If Berlin dies, Palermo would snap and lose his focus. Berlin is far from being the perfect leader the professor hoped he would be in Money Heist. He's arrogant and egotistical, but he does have the intelligence to back it up. As the professor's second-in-command, Berlin has helped plan the two heists for decades. Despite his terminal illness, Berlin wanted to live out his last days doing what he loved. He has nothing to lose, which is dangerous for his crew in Money Heist, but useful for winning in Squid Game. He'd be smart enough to come up with solutions for every game and callous enough to kill others to survive. However, his disregard for his own life could also result in his demise. He might even end up hugging Palermo on the glass bridge like Minayo does with Diaksu. Lisbon's role as a negotiator when she was part of the police force has shown viewers that she's calm, strategic, and smart. She can keep pace with the professor when it comes to managing the robbers and has the practical and leadership skills to keep them in check in the Bank of Spain. She has become an indispensable member of the team because of her strength and ability to execute the plan right. Her discipline and focus will get her through games like Red Light Green Light, the Honeycomb Round, and more. Something that could get in her way is her empathy for the other robbers, which could be detrimental for levels like the marble game, especially if she's paired up with the professor. As the mastermind in Money Heist, the professor would have no trouble winning in Squid Game. He brilliantly planned the heists and is the person responsible for keeping everything under control and going according to plan. He's shown that he can improvise, especially when things become too chaotic in the Bank of Spain. His emotions rarely get in the way of important decisions, and he has learned the hard way not to let them cloud his judgment. The professor would ace every single round in the competition, probably figuring out the twisted rules before anyone else in Red Light Green Light. He'd discover the fastest solution in the honeycomb game and maybe even find a way to keep his partner alive in the marbles round. As long as he doesn't choose a high number in the glass bridge game, he'd likely find a way to get the right tile. Finally, he would win both Tug of War in the final round, because just like Il Nam mentions in the show, the players don't need to be strong to win, they just have to be smart and strategic. That's exactly what the professor's job is in Money Heist.
Ok. Una mattina mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasori. And that's it. Y ya está.